Hello class, this is my introduction video in order to help you graph your ratio of hydrogen to oxygen versus your magnitude of pop for your class average for your lab write-up. So first, in your lab write-up document, again this is a Google document, you probably have a bunch of text here, and then in your actual document you have your graph that you want, or you have your data table that you want to graph. All that you have to graph is the ratio of hydrogen to oxygen and then the class average magnitude of pop. I don't care what your group data was for the graph. You need to include it in the data table, but the graph part or the spreadsheet part is just the class average. Now, this is made up data. Notice it goes 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 8. So this is just to step you through the steps that you need to do. So first, you need to go to Google Sheets. And you can get there by going into your, if you're going in your drive, kind of how you got to Google Docs, you need Google Sheets. And you can just start a new document, title it whatever you need to. Your ratio of hydrogen to oxygen will be one column, and then the magnitude of your pop for the class average will be a second column. Now, your ratios are 0 to 6, and 1 to 5, and the 2 to 4, and 3 to 3. Notice that when I typed in 1 to 5, it gave me it in the date notation. Instead of 1 to 5 as a ratio, it's looking at January 5th. So how you can change that is if you click on that cell, go up to Format, and then Number, and if you hit Plain Text, then it will change that, and if I delete my 2016, it'll stay as a 1 to 5. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do that for all of my rows. So I'm going to drag that down a little bit and then change these. So 1 to 5, 2 to 4 came after that, 3 to 3, 4 to 2, 5 to 1, and 6 to 0. So those are your ratios. Again, if it gives you a date or another type of notation, go up to Format, Number, and then Plain Text. Now, for our magnitudes, again, we're doing class average, so 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 8. I'm just going to put in my averages here. There we have our data in order to graph. To graph it now, we're going to highlight the data in those two rows, and depending on how big your screen is or how big your document is, if you come over here to More, if you click More, then you'll have a drop-down menu. Or if you are slid out enough, then there's not the More, but it just gives you that drop-down menu. We need this little, looks kind of like a bar graph that says Insert Chart. We're going to click on that symbol, and it will help us edit our chart. Now, there are several recommendations. I would go with the bar graph. So this one automatically came up. We're going to go with the column, so they're vertical columns, not horizontal. So make sure that you've hit the column and it looks something like this for your data. Then come up to the Customization tab. Here we have our title, so you're going to title it whatever you think is appropriate. Right below that it says Legend and to the right. What that means is it means that we have this little blue box that tells us what our data is. Well, if we had multiple colors and multiple sets of data, that might make sense, but since we just have the one data, let's go ahead and get rid of our legend. You come to this little drop down arrow and hit None, and it'll get rid of that blue box on the right side. Then if you scroll down, it'll say Axis Horizontal. Our horizontal axis is our ratios. Make sure you're typing it in with the correct element first. Ratio of hydrogen to oxygen. Then up here where it says axis, it also has a little drop down arrow. If you click that, you should be able to change it to left vertical. So let's change it to my vertical axis, and then my title, that's going to be our magnitude of the pop. And that's our class average. And if you click anywhere, then it will show up on the left side. This is scaled 0 to 10. Got 2.5 and 7.5. I don't really care how it's scaled as long as I can see the numbers. So that is the main things that we need in our graph. So let's go ahead and insert that. We can resize it by grabbing one of those blue squares and scrolling it in or out. And then if you just click a white space and move it, then we can move it around. So here's the graph that we need, that we made in a spreadsheet. Now we have to input it into my Google document. So if I hit Control and my graph, let's see, that doesn't actually work. So let me hit Control C. Let's see if that copied. And if I come over here to my lab write-up and hit Control V, then it should paste. Now let's try that one more time. Let me try Command C. I can never remember which one they are. And then Command V. There we go. It's Command C to copy and Command V to paste. And there's my happy little graph. Now, if that's not working for you, another option you can do is if you do Shift Command 4, you have this little crosshairs thing, I don't know, cursor, and if you highlight it, then it will take a screenshot of the graph, and from there you can pull it off your, I think it went to, yeah, your desktop. From there you can just pull it off your desktop and slide it into your document. So there are two ways in order to put your graph into your lab write-up. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have other questions. When you are looking at the best ratio, we're just going to go with the one that has the highest bar. So in this made-up data, again, keep in mind this was made up, then our 5-to-1 ratio is going to be the best. Good luck on the rest of your report.